Hello everyone, I am Matthew Oliver, I'm a wedding planner and I'm here to help you plan your lovely beautiful wedding day. I normally do 5 reasons videos which gives you 5 reasons on industry tips, but today's video is completely different. I'm just giving advice on what questions to ask your venue before making that important booking. Some couples go to a venue, they love it, it's fantastic, and they put down the deposit there and then, and it's not your fault if that happens at all. You fall in love with the venue, who wouldn't? But sometimes the person you're meeting says a few things just to obviously make that booking. Some venues are very greedy. Some venues don't allow your suppliers to come in, and it's, you know, you have to use their suppliers, and obviously these things can add up, and you don't want to miss out on that lovely venue where you can have full access, there's no restrictions, and it will make your beautiful day even more beautiful. I don't see the reasons why people are greedy in this industry, because at the end of the day it's your wedding. Everyone should bow down to you and let you rule your wedding day and make you and have whatever you like for the wedding day. You know, if you wanted flying pigs, why can't you have flying pigs at the wedding? Yeah, you're using this venue, but they shouldn't treat you as another couple. They should treat you as the only couple they've ever had, and that's very, very important. So I'm just going to run through a list of questions you should ask beforehand and just go through some advice at the end. I do hope this helps you in when you go and see your venues. So, starting with arrival time, what time can you arrive on the wedding day? Also, because some venues you have to arrive on the day, but some venues might book the whole weekend out. So if it's obviously the weekend wedding, that's absolutely fine. You'll be arriving on the Friday, you'll have full access. But if it's just for the day, what time can you arrive? Also, when can you have access to set up the room? I always generally think a day before setting up the room is a lot easier, especially if you're doing it yourself, because it means that when you're getting ready on the morning of the wedding, you have all the morning to not worry about the setup. And the setup can take a lot of time, like putting out name cards can take a very, very long time. So just make sure you ask the question, can you have access for day or night before? Departure time, another really important question. If you're staying there for the whole weekend, what time do you have to leave on the Monday? Or if it's during the week, what time do you leave on that final day? But if it's this the day you're having the reception from, what time is the finishing time? What time does the music have to shut down? What time the bar has to shut down? Obviously the later the better, but that's another question to ask. When do you need the room areas cleared? So sometimes if you have the whole access to the whole venue, for instance, when does it have to be cleared? You might have to do it on the night. You might do it on the next morning. So what time do the suppliers have to come back in and maybe collect the flowers and do a general tidy up if they are the ones that have to tidy up? Is it your caterer? Can we that we have to use? If it is your caterer, can we try the food now? Really important, because if you have to book this venue and you have to have their caterer, then you have to try their food there and then, because what if the caterer is awful and the food's absolutely disgusting? So make sure you maybe beforehand, before going to the venue visit, tell them you want to try the food or have a sit down to obviously to try the food, because otherwise you're trapped. You're putting a deposit down of this venue, you have to have that caterer. Okay, so make sure you do that. Also, like I said before, do we have to hire in your suppliers, or can we have our own suppliers? If it's your own suppliers, it's so much better. You have more freedom than the ones that they might be picking. And I don't know why you have to use their suppliers. It's a greed thing again. They will obviously get commission from those suppliers for hiring them or using them. Is there a corkage charge? Another really important question. What areas will be ours on the wedding day and what will be private? Is it a private venue? Is it not a private venue? Obviously this depends on if you're having a whole access to the whole weekend and it's yours, or if it's like a hotel or a manor house. What access do you have and how long do you have it for? It's really important as well. Where can I get ready? You might, if it is the weekend wedding and you're there for the whole weekend, that's absolutely fine. If not, can you get ready there in the morning instead of getting ready somewhere else? Because the transport, you know, it's another fee on top of that. But if there's a room you can get ready in, and if you're staying there on the wedding night, then why can't you get ready there in the morning? How many rooms do you have and what are the costs? This is if you're having guests stay at the room. Sometimes they have outbuildings, sometimes it's like one big building and you can, like, you know, have full access to it. Obviously you want to know the prices before. Some venues or hotels give you like a general cost of everything, so you have the house for this price and that's it. So that's a lot easier to work with than adding up different costs and stuff, because obviously they're being clever with the packages and services. But if it's a house and you want to book it all and it gives you a general cost for everything, then that's the better ones to go for, because you know what you're getting with that way. And this is really important to me. What chairs are included? Because some venues have these awful chairs or with chair covers, so you have to ask that question before, definitely, because you don't want to have awful chairs for your wedding. Yeah. And do you need to hire your own linen? Yeah, you maybe never thought of this. If not, will it be ironed? Why would I don't understand this question, because venues give you linen, or caterers give you linen, and they give you unlinened linen, you know, unironed linen. You need to have it ironed, of course. It makes it far much better. So make sure you ask that question. Is there parking facilities? What's included in your service and packages? This is I know you might have an email beforehand or a package beforehand from the venue, but when you're there and talking to them in person, you have to ask that question again, run through it, make sure it's exactly what they sent you, because they have tendencies of like saying not everything that you had in that email. So make sure you know exactly what you're getting, what you're paying for, what's included, what the service is before putting the deposit down, and have it in writing from them, and maybe even get it signed there and then on the day. Do you have room layouts available for the X amount of guests? So if you're having 100 guests, what would you recommend the room layout to look like? 50 guests, what do you recommend the room to look out? Just a general idea of the room setup, so you have that in advance, what you can be playing with on the day of the wedding, or when you're planning the wedding itself. What are your restrictions? Some venues have loads of restrictions, so like candlelight, music, lighting, bar. Some venues don't have any restrictions whatsoever. So that's another question to ask. What are the restrictions? Who is responsible for clean-up and cleaning? So if you are getting married on Saturday and you party till 3 o'clock in the morning, who is going to have to tidy up that mess on that night or the day before? Sometimes it's caterers, sometimes you have to do it, unfortunately, depending on what venue it is. Make sure you ask that question and you have a lot of time to plan that part, because it has to be done, otherwise you might not get your deposit back. And again, venues might not always make that clear. Do we need to bring our own sound equipment? So anything to do with sound or equipment, you know, ask that question as well. So that's generally like the questions to ask. Obviously you need to make sure if they say things like, say for instance, I had a wedding a while ago and they promised my bride and groom when they went to the venue that they could have their feast outside. During the planning process they said no, we can't have the feast outside. So obviously the couple were really upset about that, because they were said they could have it. So make sure if there's any promises on the time you meet them, write it down, and before you leave get them to sign that piece of paper. I know it does sound stupid, but this is your wedding, you know, it has to be perfect. Everything has to go perfectly. Also, whilst you're there, take pictures of the carpet, take pictures of the ceilings, the walls, everything, because obviously you need to use that when you're putting the colours together. You don't want any clashing or anything with the colours of the wedding day. Also, the costs. Try and get an estimated cost for everything whilst you're there when you meet them. Ask for a payment schedule and what deposits they need. Are there any hidden costs? Ask that question, because there really can be. Like, is VAT included? Is there costs for staff? What are the costs of staff? You know, if it's a private house and you're hiring it for the whole weekend, does that include someone to clean the rooms? Or, you know, there's all those questions as well on top of that. And any overtime charges if you're running late and you leave the premises later than expected. What are the overtime charges? Those are the general questions that you need to ask venues before making that important booking. I do hope this helps and it puts you on the right track. I do apologise for blabbering, but I'm really, these sort of subjects are really important to me, because venue should not be ruling your wedding. It should be you ruling your wedding, and it should be your way, no one else's way. Love you all so much. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day. Goodbye. Mwah.